Greetings, world. Welcome to another MEN-talRollaDeK podcast. Shout out to Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, and Overcast. Greetings, King.
Greetings, King.
How you doing?
Everything's in divine order thanks to the ancestors and Ifa.
Absolutely. What are we talking about today?
We're going to have a conversation, and it's going to be African people, European astrology, a mental genocide. And I brought that up because being a student of Barashango, Sakamusa Barashango was one of my mentors on my study of learning, becoming awakened. He wrote a book years ago called African People, European Holidays of Mental Genocide. So I took the latter part because I'm finding out some things that is affecting us that we're not paying attention to. We have take things for granted, and we've been rolling with it. In order for us to break the psychological matrix that we're in, we have to go to another source, well, to another level we have not gone to, and it's dealing with astrology and astronomy, the zodiac, the calendar, and all these things. We take these things as if God gave them to them, but these things was put in place by the Greco-Romans in 46 BC when the Romans, after they had invaded Egypt, they decided to take the world off of the matriarch and put them on a patriarch. They decided to reduce the constellation from 13 down to 12. And many folks, and because it's been done for over some 3,000 years, it went unnoticed, and then around 2000, around 270 AD, the Vatican got involved, and they decided to take that 13 constellation out, make it 12, because they didn't like the number 13 because it dealt with a feminine energy, and they had demonized the feminine energy to the point where anything dealing with the alpha, with the female, they didn't want it running nothing. And King, for over 300,000 years, the indigenous female from the land of Alkebulan, later named Africa, created the first calendar based on the lunar system and the menstrual period. And after we used it for so long for agriculture and growth, the European came in and decided they want to take it off of that and put it onto an artificial cycle, which is a 12 number cycle rather than 13. And I feel that it's necessary after what happened back on December 21st, 2020, this past year, at the winter solstice. That was a conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter, right? According to the Greek calendar. But that was Obatala and Babaluae according to the Ifa system of astrology. And I went on a search to find out why my people can't seem to move forward. We're stuck. We've got a lot of move, but we're stuck like in a quicksand of ignorance. And I found out that many times when we're going around honoring the oppressors, gods, and their identity and their holidays, we can never get out under this matrix that they got us in. They have us in an artificial time frequency.
So do you feel like they actually utilize the same form of astrology as a mechanism to actually put a hold on our people?
It grossed $2.2 billion in the last 10 years.
Wow.
$2.2 billion for these psychic hotlines and these tarot card readers and all this. And they got an industry out there called a psychic astrology industry. 52% of people in America and the world use astrology and astronomy, tarot card, or some form of medium. And it had grossed, and that's what they can record. Now, that's the money they ain't recorded. They shade a lot of people that don't go online. They got their little private settings. But in the industry, $2.2 billion from 2005 to now, they have grossed $2.2 billion. And that's why Miss Cleo, we got to be a multi-millionaire, but they finally caught up with her, scamming the folks. And we have been scammed, bamboozled, and hijacked, chasing after a the illusion that we're following a spiritual thing when actually the thing created out of superstition and out of piety. My research showed that in Julius Caesar in 46 BC decided to shrink, get his astronomers together after invading Egypt, came back and said, well, what we're going to do, we're going to change the zodiac. We're going to take it off of 13, put it on 12. Now, the Mesopotamians, the Babylonians had dealt with it earlier. But once Julius Caesar got his hands on it, because at that time, Rome only had 10 months in their calendar. Once he got in there and decided he'd want to deal with the number with the 13, because in the Greek mythology, it looked like that the planet Ophiuchus in the Greek had got into a battle with his brother, and they sought to kill him. So by allegedly killing him, they took him out of the equation of the 13 constellations, became the 12. Later on, we found out that when Pope Gregory the 13th decided he wanted to get off to Julius Caesar and create a new calendar for society, because that calendar ran for like 700 years. They decided they want to get them off of that Julius Caesar calendar. They came in, they added 2 more months, allegedly, and they created another calendar called the Gregorian calendar, which was put together in 1582. So for 1700, for over 3,000 years, we were running with that calendar. Well, around 270 AD, the Vatican got involved. They decided they didn't want to deal with that 13th country because they deemed it evil. The Knights Templars got killed on Friday the 13th. 13 seemed to be an unlucky number to them. So they decided to take the 13th constellation out, deemed that it was evil and unworthy. So the Vatican in 270 AD made sure that we only had 12 in the constellation. Of course, they were saying out of sight, out of mind. So from 270 on up to here recently until 1920 or 1929, the International Astronomical Association modified the constellation and brought the Ophiuchus back in place, but it was never publicized where it become a part of the annual zodiac that people used to. So a lot of our friends who are out there now practicing the art of astrology and reading the tarot cards and flipping the coins and throwing the rocks and reading the tea leaves, basing their information off of the 12 constellation zodiac that given us by the Greco-Romans, you're totally out of frequency and you're running against the laws of nature. You're working in what they call a technosphere and not in a biosphere. Biosphere works off of nature and cosmology. Technosphere works off of a 12-month, 60-minute clock. I mean, a 60-minute clock, which keep you chasing money and not letting you enjoy life.
So, with the insertion of the 13th, does that actually balance out the calendar and the frequency?
Yes. Let's look at this. First of all, let's examine what's wrong with the calendar that we have, right? So in order to deal with it right, let's do what's wrong. First of all, the Julius Caesar calendar, that's what we're about to follow now, since 1582. Okay. How was it set up? What was involved and why they add these months and days into it? What did they base it off of? Okay. We say that there's 7 days in a week, right? We say that there's 4 weeks in a month, right? Says 52 weeks in a year, right? Well, if you divide 4 into 52, what do you get?
Hey, Baba, keep speaking. I'm
You
listening.
get, when you divide 4 into 52, you get 13. You don't get 12, you get 13. You say that a woman carries a child for 9 months. You say for 40 weeks. Well, 40 weeks ain't 9 months. 40 weeks actually comes into 10, right at 10 months. So you're still out of balance. So now we got a problem. So in order to be in our ancient indigenous female, they based everything off the lunar system, the 28 the 28-day cycle, 13 movements in a year. So 13 times 28 is 364. So the calendar should be 364 days rather than 365.2.24222. That's out of sequence, out of time. Well, it's 365. Yeah, they say because they added a leap year in there. And they say that in the cycle. Well, there's a thing called the side rail. There's a thing called synodic cycle, which is 29.5. Then there's called a side rail, which is 27.1. The 28th fall right in the middle, which balances between the laws of nature. That 13 goes to cardinal point number of 4 cardinal points, which is totally in line with cosmology, in line with us. So the problem we're having, we're trying to live in a biosphere with a technosphere mentality, which keep us chasing after money, chasing after the wrong sign. A lot of people base their life on these various signs, and it's ironic. If you ask somebody, a man will say, "Well, what's your sign?" They're going to give you some Greek god.
But it's not only that. Like, we have to look at the power within our vibration, our voice,
Right?
right? So the more we recite things, the more we make it real,
I say,
right?
Bob. I mean, I say because you're right. The thing we try to break away from. How you gonna break from something you keep feeding energy to, and you're giving your energy up for?
And believe it or not, a lot of people pray to go on their knees and they pray to God, call it Jesus Christ. But I look at it as we are gods. We're just not in our godlike frequency. I came out of my mom, therefore making her my creator,
Right,
right? My
right,
father planted the seed.
right.
So I'm a reflection of her. She created me in her image. Therefore, yeah. So I don't want to get too technical,
Yeah, I
but
understand. But let's get to the next level, King. Same thing. If we run around still saying we want to be free, but we keep associating ourselves with the oppressor's identity, we're not empowering our identity. Why are we using Greek gods for astrology and Greek names for days of the week? These are names of gods of either the Viking gods or the Norse gods or the Greek gods. Has nothing to do with Afrocentricity or Akubilan, known as Africa. None of these things look like us or represent us, but yet we recognize them from our birth canal, from the day we come into the world. When you go to somebody and ask them, well, what is your birthday? I was born May so and so, so and so, so and so, in the year so and so, so and so. What is May? The god Maya, the goddess Maya of the Greeks? Why shouldn't I say Oshun on the so and so day in so and so year? Like, with me creating this new calendar and this new zodiac, rather than saying Mars, the god of war, at the equinox, we started with Ogun. We recognize Ogun. And for 28 days, Ogun is running things. After Ogun, the next Orisha comes into play. We use the Orishas rather than using Greek gods. Well, how can you do that? Well, they did it. They decided to name them because none of the things they named look like what they say it looked like. So if they can name it, we can do our own thing.
I mean, we've been following a lighter person called Jesus for the longest. He don't reflect us. So
No, but check this out. But in Greek mythology, who is Jesus in Greek mythology? Who's the son? Who is the son of?
who
Zeus.
is
He's the
okay?
son of Zeus. They don't tell you that. When you break it all the way down and check the characteristics and all that, and that one that's his mother, supposed to be conceived by a earthling, and that's where the play comes in. It's called astrotheology. The whole thing is about astrotheology.
My thing though, like, okay, so the day is supposed to reflect the actual cycle, the menstrual cycle of the female.
The months do, the days represent those cycles because when a woman has her cycle, it's based off of that. There's a book written that I read by a sister that I read a lot, both black and white authors. You might know her name is Dr. Suzar.
Dr. Cesar, the the black mama of
The great
creation.
black mama of creation.
Okay.
Yeah. In her book, she talks about it. The great mother earth. A lot of things go back to, but if you would look up this word right here, King, it's Lebombo.
Said Lebo.
Lembo.
Okay.
Lebombo bone. The Lebombo bone. Now, back before the Greeks got their hand on it, we didn't worry about the name of the days of the week. We just every day was had a number. Day 2, day 3, day 4. But it started with these people that called the Lebombo bone. What you got?
It states that the Labambo bone is a bone tool made of a baboon fibula. When
Uh
it
huh.
says Mark discovering the Labamba Bone mountains located between South Africa and what's that?
Swaziland.
Swaziland,
Swaziland.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It doesn't give too much
You keep going. They'll tell you
definition,
a little more. That
but it seems like they utilize it
to
as
write
a
the lunar calendar.
yeah, and use it's a mathematical artifact.
And how old is it?
I don't see it precisely in front of me.
But keep reading. It's there. It says it's go back to 44,000 years
Oh,
ago.
it's actually they stated it's 35,000
Well,
years
no, it's
old.
actually but even at that, it's older than Egypt.
Yeah.
It's older than Greek. It's older than 46 BC. It's older than any of that. And it was the black female that my information said that it go back to 44,000 years ago. And then the other one is this one. And you type this one in. It's Ishango. Ishango.
ISH.
Ango. Ishango bone.
Oh, that popped right up.
Yeah.
Is a bone tool and possible mathematical object dated to the upper Paleolithic era. It is a dark brown length of bone, the fibula of a baboon with a sharp piece of quartz affixed
Mm-hmm.
to one end, perhaps for engraving.
Keep reading.
No, I'm reading the cutoff parts of it. That's
Yeah,
what they
okay.
just only give. They only give in cutoff parts. Um,
It was used to chart out the lunar calendar.
hold on.
Go to the menstrual cycle. Same thing as the Lebombo bone. These were indigenous females that created this mathematics. Wasn't a male.
Is it older because it says approximately 25,000?
Yeah, but Labamba is older than the Shango bone. If you read it, it said the Labamba bone is older than the Shango bone. The Shango come from the Shango people. So the Shangos are not the Yoruba people. The Shango nation is older than the Yorubas. So the Orisha has been around long before there was any Yoruba people. The Shango people was also part of the region up in there where you just read about. Other words, it was the indigenous female that
Okay,
started the mathematics. Okay, go ahead, King.
so basically, it stated that the site of the Ashango bone was found and redated by Allison Brooks more than
Mhm.
a dozen years ago and found to be 25,000 years old rather than the original estimate of 8,500 years.
They
However,
miscounted because of the carbon data. They misread it. Go ahead.
however, the Labambo bone in Swaziland is still 10,000 years older, consistent with the iron ore mining. They're going back to 43,000 years ago,
Uh huh.
right? A
Yeah,
bottom mathematic begin in Central South Africa.
43,000 years ago. Mathematics.
So how does this line up with astrology and how does it
If
benefits
you
us
okay,
as a people?
say
I just
you
want
go
I
back.
just want I just want you to explain it to those that really don't
Okay,
get it? Like,
reason because how they come by the mathematics? They came by losing. You read the rest. It says it's based off the menstrual cycle and the cycles of the moon. That's how the sister did it. They based it off of their menstrual cycle. So when you leave that, you go to the moon. The moon goes through its cycle every a year, 13 times in a year. It's 28 days in the cycle. You can put you. A matter of fact, I have an article that I
so
pulled out
every month should be 28
28
days.
days.
Okay.
Not 31, not 31 or 29 or
But with
30.
that being stated, isn't the months actually out of order as well? Because
Yes.
I know naturally December is realistically the 10th month.
And
So therefore there's no way January could be the new year. New year
no,
starts in March
right.
with
It
spring
starts
because
at
we
the
go over seasons.
you're right, King. It starts at the vernal equinox. And they say that's March. In the Jewish thing is they call it Adar, the last, but actually it's at the equinox. We have calculated to start at around and it's around that time. We call it the month. We call it Shango because Shango shows the inches and the cutting of the way, the pathway. So we designed the calendar based on that 13 constellations rather than 12. Now, those that follow the Greek thing, do you not know, according to the way that the sun goes through the ecliptic, that it has to go in order for the sun to go from Scorpio to Sagittarius? It has to go through the sign of they call it in the Greek Ophiuchus. We call it in our tradition that is Osamara. You with me?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay, so as Osamara. So let's look up the word Ophiuchus. O
Are you
P
talking?
H
You're talking about
constellation.
the
And,
13th
and, and
constellation,
so
correct?
and when does it appear? It comes in between Scorpio, and Sagittarius, away it's taught. But you never see that because it's not there. They remember they took it out and they shortened it because the sun is only in Scorpio for 7 days. It's in
Um,
Ophiuchus for 20 days, red 20 days.
they listed as the forgotten constellation of the zodiac.
But it's not forgotten. Because the Vatican in 270 say, let's take it out because we don't like the number 13.
So it was purposely removed.
Yeah, by the Vatican, after Julius Caesar took it out, and then they try to reinsert it back, then the Vatican, oh hell no, we can't do because it represents the feminine energy. So they took it back out. So
So
in 19 and 20, between 20 and 39, the International Astronomical Association decided we modified the constellation and put it back because things are steady out of balance.
excuse me.
So it,
So given the truth that there's 13 and it was purposely removed, right?
yeah,
And the truth that January is not a new year, we're still celebrating death because winter pretty much, if you look at it, it speaks to Saturn, right? And if you want to speak to Saturn, Saturn is actually, if in Greek mythology, be the god of the underworld. So everything is still dead, basically, right?
and
So
okay, December's what month?
the 10th month.
10th month. And so now, when did they add the other 2 months into the Roman calendar? That when you got January, what they call and February, or you got June and July, which was quartilis, sextilis, and quartilis. These are numbers, right? Because
Mhm.
actually, these are Greek numbers, like November and all that. Those are numbers, but you got mixed with numbers and gods. So, and it's crazy. They added it in, they fixed it, but originally it's 28 days in a month.
So would say, for instance, like, okay, I'm supposed to be June. So given the fact that December is the 10th month, right?
Yeah.
June would be the fourth month. If you follow the right order, it wouldn't be the sixth.
No, but if you go to the right order, June would not, because June came from the god Junus. Okay, so you have to go back. It's really starting. You have to start around April, what they call in Abib or April at the equinox. not in
So it'll be the
and
third. So
count
it'll be
down.
the third. So it'll be the third month.
It would be uh
If the
April,
first
May,
month of
yeah,
the
yeah,
year.
it'll be in the third position, right? But remember, juniors they called July after God juniors or Julius Caesar. These are named after men.
So
I mean,
wouldn't that change my, say for instance, if I'm into astrology, wouldn't that change my zodiac?
yes, sir, and that's my point. A lot of us are so caught up and we try to act out these characteristics. We say if you're under this sign, you're supposed to act like this and act like that. And you find yourself trying to imitate those characteristics when it ain't none of you.
So I'm gonna text you the date. And I want you to tell me what day it will fall under, like what sign would it fall under for me?
Okay.
Because now that we know
Now,
that.
do you want the what do you want what they come up with in 1939 when they added it back in, or you want what we come up with on our sacred calendar? Because I got both of them.
Let's do both.
Okay, let's do both. Let's do both. Okay.
So that is crazy. Um, so if it's that, so it would be actual. The actual one would be the third. 84.
So let's just see.
Let's
Let's
just see. Let's just see what happened because they label me. I hope everybody know that you don't just fall on the one sign, right? It's
mhm.
based on the placement. So based on the placement, wherever that energy might be, you take on the embodiment of these other signs. So like me, they claim 12 o'clock midnight. So I was
Mhm.
fluctuation in between Cancer and Gemini, right?
But
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 then
check this out. The Greeks do midnight to midnight. The original calendar go from evening to evening. So it's a time
mm,
factor difference.
mm, that's why I
Yeah.
say do both. That's
Okay.
why I say do
Okay.
both. I would love
So
to. I would love
so
to hear
you
both.
so yours. So let me see what they got you under here. Under the uh,
Is anything that we participate in now true, or is our lives are just one big lie? Like,
one big lie. According to this, uh, uh, your sign is on the 21st,
you
right?
make it, you making them know how old now. Let me start. Go ahead. I'm
No,
listening.
no,
Yeah, the
no. I
twenty
mean, I'm
first.
looking at it. It has you under the has you on the sign of Gemini.
Okay, which one is that?
That is 6/21/84.
Yeah, but if you go back originally, that falls on the Cancer. That's what I'm saying. I play in between both.
Okay, if you go back to um,
Damn, Bobby, you just told them how old I am. You got somebody there calculating their ass off, and I'm like, this mother. Nah,
now,
I don't care.
but
but yeah, but yeah. Oh
now
man.
under the under the sacred calendar, uh, you would fall under let's see, who would be your warrior head? We got him right here. Red chair. You would be under Yemuja.
Yemuja.
Yemuja, yeah. You
Is
would be
that
in the
a is
fourth.
that
You would
a
be in the
is
fourth
that a
house. You'll
is
be in
that
the
a
fourth house.
is that a feminine or masculine?
That's a feminine energy, but you also got masculine traits.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
It deals with the fact that she you're looking at that her characteristics of nurturer. She's it's got a lot to do with it. Yeah, there you go. You got yeah.
that's why there's only one me.
Ah, yes,
there's
sir.
only
Yes,
one.
sir.
There's only
You know,
one me.
yeah.
So how can we utilize this to actually so to benefit ourselves. Because like you just stating that, right? And I'm looking at Yemija. So you see what I'm saying? The fourth house.
Mm.
The fourth house falls into Cancer.
Under that in the Greek, but I wouldn't say Cancer. I'm under the sign of
No, no,
Yemu.
no, no. I'm looking at how you translate it. The ruling,
Right.
or like, oh, I know the Orisha, but I'm
Mm.
saying if you go back to their perspective.
Well, in order for us to grab and grow away from something, I had to use the thing you've been following and synchronize it with what it should be.
Yeah, better understanding.
Right, better understanding. And if you read the way I got laid out the information about how it's set up in the footnote, our calendar is built off the vernal equinox around March the 20th. The equinox is going to fall on March 20th for the next 6 years. It might not fall on the same day, but it'll be at March. It'll be March the 20th to 2027 for it change either to the 21st or to the 19th. It'll either go up or go back. But right now, from this point on to the year 2027, March the 20th will be the equinox, which will fall. It may fall on a Monday, it may fall on a Tuesday. And I've got the days of those days named after Orishas. Like the first day is Obatala. You see what I have there? The second
Yeah, I
day,
see it.
the second day is Ilegua. The third day is Ogun. Fourth day is Yemuja. Fifth day is Oshun. The sixth day is Shango, and it goes back to Oya. Now, what does that mean? In the month of that Orisha, on that particular day, you're pulling on both energies and both powers of those two entities, that energy that's operating within your being.
Yeah, she's a major water spirit.
Yeah. And which means that's where life come from. The movement, energy. It helps us to better understand about our characteristics as opposed to a alien being that we know nothing about. Now, what do you know about cancer?
You talking about the sickness, or
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, not to
I
poke
mean, we
fun
know
of
we're
people
not making light,
as
but we're saying how we've
um,
been bamboozled and hoodwinked to accept things were given us by the oppressor
but
and
it's
not trying to
the
reach for our own.
that's the daily thing. Like, Rich normally states that, picture you looking at the sun, then they come and tell you, hey, I got a better way for you to look at the sun, and they give you some shades, right? So
Yeah,
there's always an illusion within the truth, but once you follow certain frequency and you know certain thing within you to be true, the truth is what you can't explain. No matter how somebody aim for you to explain it, you will never explain. You just know within yourself what it really is and what it really means,
uh-huh.
right? That's
Okay.
why on one aspect, the objective is to never to aim to actually prove anything to anyone, but prove it to yourself.
I
Because
take
within that story, you're the only thing that matters, right? And no
I
matter
take
what you aim to prove, that other person may not ingest it because they may not be on that frequency.
that
I've
is
used
true.
this terminology before. Like, you can have the most profound place right next to your house, but if you're not on the frequency of that thing, you'll never know it's there. You walk past it every single day. So
Uh-huh.
until you balance out your frequency or find like-minded people that's going to elevate your frequency, don't fight to or
Yeah, but
debase your energy.
yeah, but check this out. But if you program on a alternate artificial reality, an artificial time and a frequency, that makes you become artificial. You're operating in a technosphere, not a biosphere. We might want to be bio, but you're not. But you're operating because you're using the tools that's known in the technosphere and not in the biosphere. And that's what we want to when you're in the technosphere, you're at a 1260, 12 month and a 60 minute clock. You're running against money and time. Whereas the 1328, you're dealing with nature and life as an art. You live it and experience it. It's less stressful in the 1328 frequency than in the 1260.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, like what I've realized, like being within this society is that you ever notice the more you chase after something, the further away it seems, and when you stop chasing it, it just comes and it's like it's right there.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, the
like
thing
a
about
reverse. It's like a reverse cycle. Like stop chasing what you want and just flow, enjoy the now, and watch it come to you. Because the more you chase it, the further away it runs from you.
that's where the 1328 work or the 1326 frequency work. It's of nature. Everything in nature will come to you if you just be patient. When you're running after, you're chasing it, you're scaring it. You're in a 1260. You say, man, ain't enough time, man. I'm running, and you're tired. You know, there's an old
May
Patrick key. There's an old Patrick key in Patrick key in the Urubus text said when he came to the earth, he says they that work for me, I will make my slave, and those I work for, I will make rich. And what goes along with that is greed and jealousy. That's what they said. For the love of money is the root of all evil. No, it's not really. It's that when you don't understand how to put it to work. People get rich when they put money to work. You never get rich working for money.
I mean, that's why the wealthy don't work for money. They
That's
use
right.
money. They use money so while they sleep, money works for them.
Right.
And
And so the same thing with us. We need to learn how to let the cosmos work for us, not work against it. So if you're working in a techno spirit, you're working against the laws of nature. Matter of fact, when you're working in a false reality, a time thing, you have all the resources, and you can't eliminate the waste fast enough. Well, back in the day when we come along with people, we didn't have daylight saving time, and we everything was done in season. We didn't eat food out of season. Therefore, the food will work for us, not against us. The food we eating now, King, is in a defense mode. It's grown in a hothouse. It's artificial, GMO. So your body get it. It's in a constant battle trying to recognize. And then we got all this problems, medical health problem, because we're working against nature, not with nature,
because there's no
based
truth.
on based on the, the astrology that we've been taught, the timeline, and all that. And that's funny. We got 4 seasons in a year, right?
Absolutely.
And 4 times 4, or 12 times 4 is what? 48.
Hey, but look at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, if
It's
if
not
we
52.
no, I'm not on that. I'm
Yeah,
over I'm
okay,
over that. I
okay,
was
all right.
something some like with for me that within the midst of conversation, things unlock.
Okay.
So given the fact that we do have 4 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And say we do follow nature's equation, it would balance us out. Because nature is an abundance, right? Animals forage in the winter,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Look at
And
nature.
they go to sleep and then they become active in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something as simple as a bees. We look at pollen, we complain about the pollen, but if the bees doesn't bring the pollen, things
Oh man,
die.
we be in trouble.
They're the reason why the trees, you know
And
what I
the plants
mean,
and the pollinate, yeah.
regrow and start to pollinate. Like, we take things for granted. We don't celebrate these things.
That's see, and see, you just said the key word. If we would learn to celebrate ours and not celebrate somebody else's, we take the power away and put it back where it's supposed to be. We took the power away from the feminine and gave it to the masculine. Now we're in a shit house of trouble.
It's crazy because like I forgot who I was telling. Like I asked them, like, yo, have you ever hugged a tree?
Ah,
And
I love it.
they was like, no. But I'm like, the we use the word weird, but standing in front of a tree being stressed out, that tree pulls away your stress. And if you're in tune, you can feel it pulling away your stress and rejuvenating you. That's my experience.
Well, my experience is tree. I love the sycamore tree. That sycamore tree is very sacred. And
What
you
you know
pull
about
on
that,
it,
man?
huh?
What you know about that?
Yeah, I know. Hey, come on. I'm 74 years old, 75 now, man.
Oh, but that's mostly in the islands though, right? They
But
got
no, we
that.
got them all around here in Louisiana.
That's what I'm saying. I know, but I'm saying that I know of it being in the islands because like
Right. You
it's
know,
to
the
the
sycamore,
point where
because it's always around around wet area. It got to be near water. So I can't see how you got a sycamore tree in the middle of the desert over in Israel when it's when that's it has to be near water. So if Zacchaeus planted a sycamore tree, where the hell was it? It wasn't in the desert or whatever, man. So it wasn't in the desert. So it had to
oh
be near a big
man,
body of water. You know,
oh
right
man.
downtown. But yeah, I love it. We grow trees is a great source because it's like if it purifies the air, it purifies you.
That's why we running around with these damn masks on our face, breathing our own
Man,
carbon
that don't
dioxide
make no sense.
when the tree's supposed to be getting that carbon dioxide and giving us, you know what I mean,
That's
true
right.
oxygen. Like,
So, because the tree become the lungs of the earth, and it's supposed to process and stuff. And you run around outdoor with a mask on, breathing back carbon monoxide.
so okay, for what would you say to people that eat, breathe, and shit astrology
You hit the
going
nail head
forward?
up.
Going
It's time
forward,
to
what would you tell
unplug.
them?
It's time to unplug from the BS and get out of this artificial matrix and get on the real one. Go find out where how it came to be. Do your research, do your etymology and your chronology and see how did this stuff come to be. This is what happened to me after the winter solstice at the 2021 conjunction when the alignment took place. That's when I got my awakening because the answers had me go do the research on it. And the more I researched on it, I found out how this thing is totally out of sync and out of kilter.
That was your superpower.
Yep, that was it. Me being an ascending master, they woke me up said 3 in the morning. Said you need to go and
Who
check this out.
who
Then I
sent
did
that?
my research.
Who
Yep.
sent that Gemini sign? You a Gemini? I don't identify with it. I'm
No,
s-
no. So
I don't-
when I found out the origin of the zodiac, who created it and how it came to be, then I gotta find out. Then I gotta find out now where all this other stuff come from. And it was after the invasion in Egypt that they began to change things.
but
Then
it's kind of like the guy stated like July stands for Julius Caesar, right? And
right,
August stands for Augusta.
the brother, I think it's his son or something.
Yeah, so those two were implemented,
Yeah, and
right?
those are two men that live you that you're worshiping two dead ass Greeks. It's crazy.
So okay, it, you didn't stir up something. So okay, given the fact that there's 13 months, right?
Uh-huh.
What would be the first day of the week?
The first day would be Obatala.
And that is,
That first day is the day following Oyah, which would be the seventh day.
and what day is it in a Western terminology?
They
What would it
call it
be?
Sunday after Saturday after Sunday after the sun.
Okay,
But we get off all of that.
so
The
Sunday is the beginning of the week.
first day of the week. And matter of fact, even in the Hebrew among the Hebrews, they tell you that following the Shabbat Sabbath begin the first day of the week. Even in their stories about how they got their calendar. It's funny. I tell you all the time. It's ironic that the so-called Israelites, later named Jews, when they came out of Egypt, what was the first thing they was given after coming out of Egypt? Before they came out of Egypt,
I don't do tell.
okay,
I'm not familiar.
the first thing they was given with coming out of bondage, they was given their own calendar and they were given their own zodiac, their own timeline. According to Exodus, the 12th chapter, verse 1 and 2, it says in that the Lord God spoken to Moses in the land of Egypt, said, in this month should be the beginning of month, the beginning of years unto you, in the month of Abib. Abib is a month, or is in April to live, at the equinox at the word Abib deal with the barley plant that breaks forth at the first crescent moon going into the equinox.
So basically, they're following their. So basically, the beginning of the new year for them is in April, but they got everybody else following a broken system.
Well, their New Year starts they moved it to Nicaea, but it actually starts in what they call around Albedo. And isn't it funny? No, nothing starts on the first day. Every month starts in the middle of another month.
Yeah, if it has 28 days, yeah.
It got 30, 31 days. Every sign you look at starts never on the first, it starts
Explain
near the middle.
explain that.
Okay. For instance, Aries is from, like, according to the old sign, was from April the 19th to May the 14th.
Okay.
What about April? What about April 1st? The next one says in the old calendar, uh,
Okay.
now this is according where the sun travels through it. It says uh, the sun is in Aries 26 days from April the 19th to May the 14th. That's all. This is the old calendar. In Okay, in Taurus, it's May 15th through June 20th. It's in Taurus 37 days.
Okay,
Uh,
I see. I grasp I grasp what you I grasp the concept. So they remove date. So it's month within a month. That's inception.
right. Yeah.
So
So,
okay.
so that's how they
Okay.
jack this up. Remember, it's only 28 days. And if you, and other day, I was talking, and I went and pulled up that deal you showed me, looked
Hmm.
at it. It is crazy. But if you go put up the algorithm of the apps that the Jewish people have, they got one for their people. And you type in the data, tell you the Jewish sign and the year. Now, according to the Yoruba people, this is the year 10,064. Well, in June
That
it'll be 10,064.
that we're in now. So it's really
Yeah,
not 2021.
no, it's
So
not 2021.
oh,
According to, and I
speak on
love it
that.
because
S-
they
s-
kept a running clock.
Speak on that because speak on that because
Because, well,
2021 was
because the
also.
Euro. Go. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm excited.
Nah,
I
you get
apologize.
excited. Kid in the candy store. I know. We in your field. It's cool. We ain't mad at that. I always wanted you to speak. But what we have seen 2021 before. Didn't
Yes,
2021 falls within a BC?
right. And it falls. Now you
So
got that AD. So
so
yeah,
why
that's
are we going back? It
madness.
seemed like we're going backwards. I thought we
It's
keep going
madness.
forward.
It is. You go up, you count down, you count down, you count back up. But but remember, time is consistent. So our ancestors, when they started, now I would love to see the calendar that the system started back in 44,000 years ago when they started counting. I would look, but the best people I found that had a good accurate count on way things going is the Yoruba people. And they have a running clock. Even though they try to synchronize it with the Gregorian calendar, they still say they got 13 months, though you don't see it. It's only oral. But they got their year. The year is 10,064 for the year
Oh,
2021.
damn. So how old would you be?
Woo! Shit.
That kind of makes sense because if you go back to back then, these dudes lived to see 600, 1,000, so on and so forth.
you know. So I mean, I was hoping we got Balaji on because he want to be with us and talk about, because we've been discussing the same, because we've been bouncing around. And the Europeans say they got a 13-month calendar, but they only show you 12. I said, what the 13 was? Said that's oral. How's it gonna be oral? How can I look at something that's oral? You know.
It's only in
And
the
so
mouth.
anyway, that's another story.
It's
But
it's only in
but
the mouth.
but see, but but you yet you time. But that's why I was led by the ancestors to create this new Orisha zodiac for the new millennium. And I'm rocking my shirt, and then
Uh,
I have the calendar that they had me make a calendar as well as a new chart. It's not new; it's actually old. Brought back at a new time. But none of this is new. None of this is new. We
so
just reconnecting to what was that was taken from us
so
to take away our energy.
how can those individual that wants to be a part of what's
The reconnect,
revised, yes,
the
how do
reconnect.
they get a hold, say, of the shirt and the calendar that you and the rest of the babalaos actually have prepared?
They can call me at 318 or you can write me at P.O. Box 1452, Tallulah, Louisiana 71284. Oh, by the way, that is Baba Yashabaya. Allow me to spell it for you. First, Baba. That is the title. The next word is Yashua. Yashayah. The
And
latter
who are
part,
you?
hmm,
And
that'll
who
get
are
me.
you?
And I am a Babalawo or Omo a priest of Ifa, the signs of Ifa, and my name is Ifa Beluje.
How long have
That
you
is
been
my
doing
initiate
this?
name is Ifa Beluje, which means Ifa will not desecrate the community
How long have you been doing this?
for 55, well, for 50 plus years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is your 13th what?
My 13th return from the Olorun as an ascending master to come back to bring the reconnect, to get our people out of darkness and get them back. We'll get them out of the light and get them in darkness, get them on the right path because out of the light comes out of darkness. So I got to
I
carry them
love the
back to the
correct. I
darkness.
love the correction. I love the correction.
You know,
Because
that's that energy you have. You know, I got to bring them out of light back to the darkness so they can get a rebirth.
it's a stigma. They reversed it. They got you afraid of the darkness and idolizing the
The
light when
light,
you're
and when that's
supposed
not,
to
and like
when
I tell people, King, the sun illuminates, but the moon elevates.
feminine, masculine.
You're right. The sun illuminates, but the moon elevates. You know.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
Um
And like I said, we'll be in Dallas, Texas. We'll be in Baton Rouge on the 10th of the. I want to get the proper reshape. I'm learning how to wean off of these Greeks, them freaks Greeks, the liars.
he
Uh,
said them freak Greeks.
yeah, and we'll be there.
Wow.
The it will be on the month of Yemuja. We'll be there on the 10th of Yemuja in
Word.
Baton Rouge, and we'll
You gonna
be in
be
Dallas the 24th. On the 24th, there in Dallas, and that falls on the
you gonna be
and
there on my transformation day?
ah
You gonna be there on my transformation day?
help me out.
No, you said Yebija, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
going. I'll be in Baton Rouge, and
yeah.
in Dallas. We'll be coming into Arumila when I come to Dallas on the 24th. That'd be the month of Orumila, which well,
Okay.
it rolls over into Orumila to be there to
I
talk on the
use
calendar.
I use transformation. The reason why I use transformation because we weren't created. We
Right,
can't keep using.
you're exactly right. Yeah, you're exactly right. There's a little warrior. Yeah, you're exactly right. So we'll be there to better enlighten them ones on the calendar how it works, and because the constellation is no problem, but understanding how this calendar work needs to be taught. Yeah. So I'll show them
Absolutely.
how to overlay the calendar. That way, when you do your acknowledgement to the Orishas, to your ancestors, you're calling upon that energy. And what makes it so nice, King, is that you ain't got to ask nobody when you came in the world, what's your Orisha? Who's on your head? Look at the month, look at that month that you came in, and that Orisha will be there. And then your Ori would accept that and work with that. You haven't got to try to transition from the Greek to the Orishas. And I
Yeah,
found a
man.
lot
That's
of this
why.
when you find a lot of folks, well, who is my Orisha? I got to divine and find who my Orisha is. If you know, according to this calendar, the day you came in the world, that you transfigurate into this world, you know what Orisha came with you. And you know what
Yeah.
Orisha worked with you the day you came in.
That's
Because
why
you'll
my
have a
moon.
dual, you'll have two. The Orisha you came with and the one the day you arrived on.
That's why my energy switches because water doesn't stay still.
You can say
You
that
know,
again.
like my mood, like yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
moody.
yeah,
Oh man,
yeah.
but absolutely.
I'm looking forward to talking to Rich too, man. I'm loving to see Rich get rich on this. But this calendar was after we got it prepared, we came for the Babalaos. We did the rituals and everything, and they divined on it. They divined on it with the Opele. They used the Opele chain to divine on this calendar. And when the Opele chain was divine, it came up Agbe Meiji. When they divine, they use like they use the divining chain. When they divine with it and through the chain, it came up Akbe Major for the calendar, which means it was accepted by the Orishas and the ancestors.
So, if there is a book that you would recommend for um, these astrologists that are falling within the Western calendars and so on and so forth, what book would it be? Would you give them the Mother of Creation? You can hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah, but right now, you have to get this. There is not a book for them to go to. Everything they got is gonna have 12 months in it. That's the sad part about it. And I have not created. You have to get the calendar and work from the calendar and the signs we have, because until I'm able to write the book to go with it. Right now, if you go out there now and say 13, you won't see what you're seeing now. That's the hard part. If they went try to find this in any book, they'd have a problem. Because most even most so-called African books in astrology, they're gonna give you 12. I went and did the one from Oletunji Village there in South Carolina. They Osozumai the first, he went and tried to create one years ago for our people,
Mm-hmm.
and this is it. And it's got 12.
So
All of them,
even that one is misleading.
yes, it's misleading, you know. And I'm not being facetious or bragging. They gave me this, and I'm not seeing anything else like it.
Wow,
And
that's crazy.
I don't know where it's gonna go, how it's gonna fly. All I know, they said do it. So I'm being obedient to the spirit of the great mothers and our ancestors. I'm putting it out there. Where it go, I do not know. Where it fly, all I know, if you want to get out this matrix and get yourself back in balance with nature, these are the tools you're gonna need. And then we got to begin to purge the Greek out of our tongue and call upon our Orishas and upon our ancestors in order to get in balance.
I mean, you did
And that's
mention
gonna
where, like,
require some work.
that's a lot of work, and this generation don't like hard work. They want everything abrupt.
Wait, but Lodge is trying to get in your
I
sleep.
know. I'm talking to him. Like,
Okay,
I'm texting him.
okay,
The interface he's using is not working. He has to hit either Chrome or Firefox on his. He's trying to use
okay,
his phone, so he got to hit one or the other for it to actually let him in.
okay.
Yeah, but good luck with that, because everybody wants the instant gratification.
And
It's they no
and
longer.
well, like they told me, the answer to me says, in order to follow this, you gotta. It's like following a snail. And I like following a snail. What do you mean following a snail? You
True
try to follow
success
a
comes in
snail?
incremental steps. It doesn't
Yeah,
happen in one
right.
whop.
So they told me, they was telling me, don't get excited. Follow this as you follow a snail. Now, and I had to grasp that what you call metaphor, that scenario, that I got to be patient. And even though I may be the one that's initiating it, I might not be the one to see it through. It may be you, some other young brothers that's coming on, that's locking into it. That to carry
You
to
might
the next level. You
you
understand?
might you mind putting the camera to your shirt.
No, I do not. Let me bring it around, and I will do my best to bring it.
So
Let me see if I can get it to do what it needs to do.
okay, there we go. So the Orisha Zodiac. So it puts back everything in perspective. The new millennium. So you have your 13th,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
it breaks down the beginning. So like the first one is Ogun, the second one is Oshun,
Yeah, it
and
goes all the
so
way around. Yeah. And
okay.
the land one is Olakun. Now Osamara is in the ninth house. And
Huh.
you got to really look him up, because that's a serpent barrel. He's the healer.
Huh.
He's the healer. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, that's powerful. That's really powerful. I really would love for him to get in here so he can actually
Yeah. Yeah.
say his piece. Um,
Let's
I
let's try
might
to
I'm
get
gonna,
him in if we can. If we're going to run out of time. Because
it keeps saying his device is not connected, basically. So he has to connect his mic and his he has to connect his mic and his camera, basically. It's saying connect your mic. Hold on.
and I use the word new millennium because even though it's we're reconnected, but we're trying to reach this new millennium because they seem to be active and they're really trying to find answers because they ain't taking a lot of BS. They want some documentation. But you got to get off of this tread off of this hamster wheel in order to be able to move forward. And right now we're stuck in a matrix and we're saying one thing, but we're falling right back under this spell of this matrix that orchestrated by the Greco-Romans of the Europeans, sanctioned by the Vatican. And we got to come from under, and we got to start with our separation. Start within self. They asked me the other day, "Would I be able to move the masses?" No, I will not be able to move the masses because the masses ain't gonna move. So we're going to have cultural casualties with this, but those that accept this and begin to transform their life, it's an individual journey, you know.
But that's the point I was stating earlier when I said the objective is not to convince the next person.
No,
You cannot teach the other person to bend to your whim or move to your words,
no,
because time for them may come at a different point.
true that,
Their awakening may be different than yours.
true,
So, and that's why it triggers me when people telling me that, oh, you need to talk to people like children. You need to go down to their level. And I'm saying, why the should I go to their level? They should come to mine. So you want me to debase myself to validate you? No, that's not how
no,
it works.
no,
Go catch up and come back and let's have
mm-hmm.
this conversation, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop
Okay.
debasing yourself for people. It's not that you don't love them. It's not that you're not aiming for them to be great, but they can't be great on your time.
Mm.
If you're growing, you will never reach where you need to if you keep stopping. Point blank,
Right.
period.
Point
And it,
blank.
it has nothing to do with them. It's the
Yeah,
time you're on.
right. And that's what I was saying the other day when I go on this calendar of zodiac lecture tour. It's probably going to cost me probably all kind, but as I go, hopefully they will, give a donation, something like that. But I'm not going to not go out there and do what I have to do because that is what I'm uh, being led to do, option to do. Because in order for my people to wake up, the information is going to have to get out, like your program here. It's going to have to get out by electronic media, by word of mouth, by meetings, by even in debates. I'm ready for a good debate. Let the soothsayer, let the tarot card reader, and let the diviners come on and let's talk about it. Because the first thing you're gonna ask a person when you go to read them, what month were you born, what year and what month were you born in? Bam, I got you right there. Unless you go and study, your stuff is off. See? And this is not to be facetious or anything, but sometimes you got to challenge the mainstream in order to get action. See, not power can see nothing not demand, not without demand. Never have, never. So if you want to break a cycle, then we've got to go in and challenge the cycle. As you were saying, you know, well, you got him not your president, choose none his way. Well, how you get out on a oppressive regime? You got to go in and challenge the system. You know, my camera done jumped off the puller.
You see, you were talking too hot.
Camera done jumped off the mountain. Yeah, but
You were talking.
yeah, but so these are things that we're working on and trying to get ready to go to the public. I'm going to a lot of the so-called conscious bookstores, where the great minds hang out at, and just see what goes, what takes place.
But within certain great minds, there's still deception because there's a lot of misconception out here.
Oh
Like
man,
if you pay attention to, especially within our Harlem community, as far as like your Sinetta
yeah,
and so on and so forth. Like those guys, at some point, like there's misinformation within what they're stating as well. You
Right.
know,
Well,
so
especially if they're living off of it, if they're making. I mean, what I look at tell a guy making $2.2 billion a year that his shit is wrong. yeah.
it's working for him, right? So he's gonna
So,
fight
so,
you to
so, he,
stay on
so
the.
he's gonna perpetuate the lie and the deal because, but even though I got the documents to back it, he's gonna perpetuate it because it's affecting his bottom line.
Yeah, just like it's okay for the world government and a few of our reflection to continue saying that we're black
hmm When
because
we
it
ain't,
benefit
when we're
it
not,
benefits it
and I
benefits
laugh
their
all
bottom
the time.
line.
Black
It
lives
benefits
matter, right? What does
it,
black mean?
you're colorless. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then
man.
every given you give thanks, you celebrate your own demise. Ain't that some
And
shit?
that's what you do when you follow the Gregorian calendar and you're following this Greek zodiac. You you
Oh man.
you can't come out because as soon as you make one step forward, you make 4 or 5 back, and you honor it.
Then you hear some people be like, "Oh, we just change it up and do it amongst our families. It's still a celebration.
No,
You're still celebrating in the same energy. So
yeah.
what are you
So
talking about?"
that's like tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is Mother's Day,
When
right?
oh, I remember Queen was talking to me earlier. I'm like, "Yo, fam, every day
Tomorrow.
is Mother's Day. She's still
Thank you.
alive."
So tomorrow,
Like,
tomorrow you're gonna celebrate this pagan thing for the Gregorian people on tomorrow under the disguise of mother. Your mother ain't a mother every day.
oh
That
snap! Nah,
they
man. She
buy
only get one day. You get one day to be a father, man. Just like
yeah.
you got to look at all the trickery. It's the same way they want you. Oh, you got so-called Black History Month, right? So you're telling me how vast our history is, and that you can identify it within a month. Like,
But
man,
ain't it
get the hell
ironic?
out of here.
But ain't it
And we
ironic
believe
that
that. And we
February?
believe that shit too.
Yeah, but ain't it ironic that February is the only month that got 28 days in it? Actually, have 28 days in it.
It's the only feminine month.
That's only got 28 days in it. Everything has been got additions added to it.
It's the only feminine month, man. It's the
It's the only
same as
one.
the
It got
same
28
as the
days in it.
same as the
Yeah,
Bible. They try to give you masculinity
yeah,
100%. Like,
yeah,
oh, the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost. Like, yo, what
yeah.
happened to my mother, son?
Yeah. So we got a homosexual thing going on. Huh? Yeah, but man,
Look at the world now.
oh yeah, see,
Look
and
at the
that's why
world now.
I took it a lot of time with all this going on, and they complaining about the condition. I say, look how I got there, running on a technosphere, a mechanicalized clock, bullshit for your calendar. You look at it, all this stuff was added in, changed around. And now we went from March being the first of the month, first of the year to January. I mean, come on, people. But you know what I found out the other day in my research, King? Over in London, the rail system have gone to a 28-day cycle for their business over there in London. 28 days. Now I don't know about the other part, but I was talking. This guy was doing a thing about the London Rail, and they doing their scales on 28-day scales.
Why is that? I mean, honestly, like I feel like there's no way they can make the world so lifeless if they didn't feed off if they didn't know the truth to follow the actual true version of these things and use it against us in a ritual format, because like even like I said, what we speak we create, we make into reality, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Every time we speak we formulate a ritual
Right.
and we're unaware of it. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I says you got to be careful with how you speak.
And
so
how
you
you
think
think.
it so you think it, so it becomes. You don't even have
Right.
to open your mouth because you can call your own name without moving your lips,
That's right.
and somebody's going to answer and hear.
Mm-hmm. That's
You
powerful,
know,
man. But see, that's going to show how powerful people we are, and to tell us, then you put us in a box and say that we're lesser.
But isn't that, if you want to win the race and continue to blind people, isn't that what you have to do?
Well, all I know I'm on this mission, and I got to do what I got to do, whether they accept or reject or whatever. But I tell my wife, I haven't had a good 8 hours sleep since December, and I've been working on this calendar night and day, and finally got it to formalize at the equinox, and start putting everything together. So everybody's seen it, liking it, and it's so. But everybody ain't gonna like it. I know that. But right now, I'm encouraged more so to get out here and talk about it.
Like I said, King, it's all about energy. If you're not on that frequency, you're gonna walk past that spot
Yeah,
the entire time
yeah,
until you fall on that frequency.
yeah,
Get what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it may not be for you, but in time you'll catch up.
Oh yeah. So, so anyway, we're looking at now three three dates coming out here in the month of Yemuja, to get out here and talk. But uh, and I appreciate you so much for having me on the program. I don't know if Elijah's gonna get in or not, but we've been talking. What is
He was aiming to, man. I don't know what's going on with his phone, but for some particular reason it's not allowing him to actually
well, that's how it
come
is
in.
sometimes.
Yeah, so we'll actually catch up another time, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
For
So
those of
are you,
you,
you gonna post this up on YouTube or on Facebook?
everything is already posted.
Oh, okay. I
See?
come.
It look, you see behind me?
Ah, okay. Yes.
That's YouTube.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It's already on YouTube. It's on Twitch. It's on Instagram. It's on not Instagram, I'm sorry. It's on Twitter, so on and so forth. And I'm gonna put it on my podcast so other people can catch the episodes. So don't forget to like and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Apple Podcasts, you can go to not Shopify, Spotify and Anchor. Those are the common ones I know off my head.
Well, tell
But
them, leave their comments, and then we need to come back. We'll address the comments because I know this is all new, and it should raise some questions, you know, and it
and
should raise some
please
challenges. So
and
please,
please, it's not taking you nothing to hit like. Just hit
no,
like.
yeah, yeah.
Just hit like. If
Yeah.
you agree, disagree, send your comments and so on and so forth. You
we
know,
va- we value your opinion because this is new to us in a sense, and we're out here as a pioneer to bring this information to reconnect to our ancient past, and this is how we have to do it.
absolutely. And gratitude to everybody, and gratitude to you, King.
Most definitely
We'll
gratitude to you.
we'll talk. We'll talk one away. Still gotta. So like even in astrology, we still the Orisha format. We have dice,
Yep.
right? You have they're not dice, they're shells.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe one day we can actually speak on that.
We'll do that. How to
And
divine with the Kara shells, how we divine with various tools that we have at our disposal. This
absolutely,
is how we connect and get answers.
absolutely.
We love to do that.
And keep in mind, people, you're greater than who you think you are. Believe within, never without. Believe inward, never outward.
Mhm.
You're powerful. You're a God.
You're
You're
definitely a
pure
God.
bliss. You're abundant. You're strong. Stay elevated. Stay grounded. And what you know, you know.
Hmm.
Period. Don't ever aim to convince no one. Peace.
Peace.